All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Payoff Pitch. My name is Patrick Lewis here with Joey Olberding. It is June 14th on a Wednesday, second show for the Payoff Pitch. Joey, welcome.
Well, hi. Hi, Patrick.
There he is.
Yeah.
There's our freshman Clark Montessori. So we've had a lot going on since we've last talked, Joey.
Yeah.
There's a ton of things that's happened. What do you think we should talk about first? Do we should talk about the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, or the Reds?
What do you think, Patrick? I'm gonna let you decide this.
You let me decide. Well, I have a feeling you're gonna want to talk about the Reds. That's your love and your passion, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get it past that. So let's do it. So okay, since we last met, the Reds have had their draft. The Major League Baseball had their draft, and what's interesting about the Reds this year is that they had the second overall pick.
Yeah, the second overall pick, and they made a good decision. I gotta say, they picked Hunter Green, who is a left-handed pitcher slash I believe like a left fielder.
Shortstop, I think.
Shortstop.
Yep.
See, I knew that he was like a double player, but he got drafted as a pitcher, so I only think of him as a pitcher.
Yeah. So what kind of stuff does he have as a pitcher? Does he have like a knuckleball like R.A. Dickey, or are we talking
He
speed?
just throws really fast. Like he already throws like 102. Like he's a Aroldis Chapman, but a starting pitcher and in high school.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Where did he come out of high school? Do we know?
Notre Dame High School in
California.
Yeah, California. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So being a Notre Dame fan, like from college, like the Fighting Irish, it's kind of cool when I, being, a Reds fan, I see Notre Dame High School and Hunter Green coming out from California. This guy, 17 years old, 6'4", 210. He's a big dude. I'm 6'4", and I'm 210, and I'm not 17. I'm 31. I'm twice as old as this guy, and he's got my stature. And this is a big guy coming into the big leagues. What was the Reds so excited about? Why pick this guy?
Well, as previously mentioned, he throws over 100 miles per hour. He's 17, and he's a double player, so he can also hit. And the fact that he's just really good. He's really good all around, and there's a reason that he was the number 2 overall pick and projected to be number 1. But then the Twins chose like somebody random. I don't even know who he is.
Someone random. Just another shortstop.
I'm assuming.
That was pretty good.
I'm assuming he's gonna be a utility player. Like watch in like 5 years, I'm gonna be right.
Yeah. So what's interesting about the Reds' situation this year and getting the second overall pick is because at the end of last year, when they were playing the Cubs, they had the opportunity to not get that pick. They were probably going to pick around like 6th, and they were winning against the Cubs in like the 9th inning. I can't remember vividly, but just like glances, I think they were going to win that game, but they end up losing. And then there was like an extra inning game between, I believe it was the Rangers and Rays, and I forget who won that game, but the winner actually did us a favor by giving us the second overall pick. So
probably was the Rangers because the Rays they aren't very good.
So whoever that was gave us that second overall pick, which is pretty nice for them to do for us, right? Yeah. I mean, the Cubs, they went on to win the World Series. I mean, good for them. But we got the second overall pick, right? You give me a scowl like that's just rude.
I thought you were talking about the Rangers for a second, like they won the World Series.
No, the Cubs, because they went on to win the World Series and had their fun season, but we got the second overall pick. But is there anything else you want to tell our listeners about Hunter Green? Why you're super excited about this guy?
Well, once again, because the Twins, who had the number 1 pick, just kind of picked some random guy. We pretty much had the number 1 overall pick. I thought that we were going to go from the guy from Louisville, who was a right-handed pitcher and a really good first baseman. It was like Michael or Brandon McKay.
Okay.
Do you know his first name?
I don't.
Okay, well.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I can fact check that later.
I thought we were gonna pick him because he went to college at Louisville, but I'm happy with our choice.
I like it. So why I'm pretty excited about it is that Hunter Green was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I get Sports Illustrated.
Do you? You
so-
have a subscription.
Yeah, I read the article.
So what SI did say in that wonderful piece that you're talking about is that they said Hunter Green is the star, the baseball star that they need. Like
Yeah.
they actually, and I'm not sure if they even quoted this in the article or this is something they said about the article, but it was almost like he's the next up and coming Babe Ruth.
Really?
Yeah, because you said he's a dual way player. He's a double player.
Yeah.
So he could pitch and hit. I mean, that's what Babe Ruth, like he's the, like that moniker, like that person who everyone refers to as that dual player who did it so well. Like Babe Ruth back in the day pitched really well, and then obviously everyone knows for his hitting,
Yeah.
all those home runs. But most people don't know he was a pitcher, right?
Really?
Yeah, that's real. I swear to God, if you look at people and you say, hey, do you know Babe Ruth? It's like, oh, yeah, the Sultan of Swat, the Big Bambino, right?
Yeah.
Those are all things related to his hitting, but they're not related to his pitching. People don't know that. So, yeah, Hunter Green, second overall, a big prospect that the Reds are really excited about. They were actually worried they weren't picking high enough to get him. They thought the second
Really?
wasn't overall. Yeah, the Twins. When you were saying that the Twins just picked up that
Yeah.
shortstop, I know some
Yeah.
scouts for the Reds were looking for him.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. That's why I thought that we were gonna get McKay, but we got lucky, I guess, and the Twins.
Yep, we sure did. So let's move on, buddy. Let's talk some NHL playoffs.
NHL playoffs.
Yes, we're gonna save the NBA for last because I know that's something that you really enjoy too. But since we just got talking about the Reds, let's talk about the NHL playoffs. Penguins, they won it, buddy. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to last week. If you didn't join us last week, well then let me give you the rundown. So we were talking about the NHL finals. It had just game 4 had just ended. It was tied 2-2, and I said that the Predators were gonna win the game at Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh would win the game at Nashville.
You did. I remember that vividly.
Yes, and he was very upset at me.
He meaning me? I was upset at you?
Yes, you were.
I don't know if upset is the right word, Joe. I think I was very stunned that you
Yes,
were going to say it.
Stun's a better way to put it.
Stunned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And what happened?
Well, the Penguins decided that it wasn't okay for the Predators to dominate every game. So the last 2 games were spent demolishing the Predators.
They demolished the Predators?
Okay, not demolished, but if you look at the scores, then see the first game, game 5 was a 6-0 win, and then game 2 was a 2-0 win. Sidney Crosby finally came into his own and won playoffs MVP after the Penguins won the series. So dominating isn't really the right word, but they shut them out both games.
Yeah, they did. They played well. That game 5, I think it was, they played well. I would say they dominated that game because that was, I believe, a 5 or 6-0 victory,
Yeah.
correct? And then they went to Nashville, and that was a close game. In fact, okay, so this is controversy. Let's talk about the officials for a second. And we're not going to
Yeah.
spend a very, very long time on this show talking about officials and the biases of that. But what's your take on that? Do you think that goal, and when we're talking about a goal that it was an inadvertent whistle?
Yeah.
To just short and sweet, inadvertent whistle. They scored, and everyone's elated. This is third period. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we're 0-0 through
it's
third.
0-0, and then the Predators look like they're up 1-0, and then it gets taken back.
Yeah. You think that's right?
No.
Good call? No?
No.
Tell me about your opinion, Joey. Come on, give it to me.
It's the NHL Finals. It's the decisive game. When you do that, you can't just reverse a call. Like, I know why they did it, but still, that was a perfectly okay goal, and they called it back. And I'm not so sure that the Predators would have had enough momentum to still win. They might have, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and it almost looked like they took the win out of their sails a little bit. They were super pumped.
Yeah.
They were gonna win that game, and they could have gone back to Pittsburgh and made that a series. And I really think, I mean, okay, inadvertent whistles happen. They do. The whistles come in. I mean, it happens in every sport. It happens in football a lot. They really do. And especially in hockey, the reason why this official did it is because he thought the goalie had the puck, right?
Yeah.
So when the goalie has the puck, basically play ends because he's covered up. They don't want him to get injured. They don't want people to go into him. He's protected. And that's the reason why it happened. I'd rather have an official do that and then just kind of play it out because who knows? Like, okay, a goal was scored. And that's like the worst case, quote unquote, scenario for the official at that point because you're thinking, okay, I blew the whistle, it's under there, but then it's not. Then like, oh crap. Like after that, he's thinking the worst case scenario is that it goes in the goal. They score a goal and everyone gets all angry with them, which is exactly what had happened. You got to feel for the official at that point from his perspective. And NFL officials happen all the time. Like you take a snap and then you go on a vertical. Let's say Peyton Manning hits somebody down the field and they get a touchdown. And all of a sudden he's up in arms because there's an inadvertent whistle or something like that. For maybe he thought it was offsides and there was no offsides. They're like, oh, inadvertent whistle. Whatever. It happens, right? So to that end, you feel bad for the Predators. You feel bad for the official, but it's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's what happens. They did it for a good reason, in my opinion. So
it's going to happen in any sport, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Instant replay doesn't always save you from those things.
No, you can't. Yeah, instant replay is not going to be your friend in that point. In fact, it was the fiend for the Predators because they scored and then they replayed it, and it didn't come in their favor. But let's talk about the legacy of Sidney Crosby and the Penguins right now, right? I mean, they were the last team to go back-to-back was the 97-98 Detroit Red Wings. Mm-hmm. And the Penguins are the first team in the salary cap era to do it. Yeah. And that's a big accomplishment. And now they have a chance to go back-to-back, which is incredibly – I mean, there's actually a team, I'm not even joking with you, that won 4 straight. It was the 80 through 83 New York Islanders who won 4 straight Stanley Cups.
I actually knew that.
I know you knew that because you're awesome. And but let's talk about the legacy of the Penguins and Sidney Crosby right now because, I mean, what do you think? One of the best teams in NHL history? One of the best players in NHL history?
Definitely one of the best players in NHL history. Sidney Crosby is the face of the NHL right now. He's won 2 straight, and by the looks of it, even though he's getting a little bit older, he doesn't look like it. He's still going out there and playing really well every single game.
He's 29, I think, right?
Is he?
I think he's 29. I'm going to look that up, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, Sidney Crosby, he's a legend, man. I think he's gonna be playing quite a few more years before he retires, but when he does, he will be passed down as a legend, and like Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky, those guys. I think Sidney Crosby is going to be up there. Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, he's won 3 Stanley Cups now, and I
think he's won 4.
No, I think he's won 3. Well, we'll fact check that too, but I think it's won 3. Let's just under that assumption. So, Wayne Gretzky, how many did he win? 4, right?
Yeah.
He won 4, and with the Rangers and the Kings. But right now, just individual accolades. Sidney Crosby, I mean, with the gold medals that he's won, he got a World Cup title. And remember, the Vancouver games back in 2010, he got that golden goal, and they called this the golden goal because it was against the United States for the gold medal. It was 2-2.
Yeah.
And he's the one that made that 3-2 goal to win it for Canada, giving them the gold medal. So he got a golden goal. He has the Hart Trophy as the league MVP in 2007 and in 2014. The Art Ross Trophy is the NHL's top scorer in 2014. I mean, I keep going on and on about the statistics. I mean, I got a full list of them here. But he's got to be in that conversation, right, for the best?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and in my opinion, quite honestly, and my playoff pitch for this is that I think Sidney Crosby, being 29 years old, which I did look it up, he is 29. I mean, he's got at least probably 4 or 5 years, if concussions don't hurt him, going down the stretch to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, NHL player. And he's in his prime. He's in his prime right now.
That's a bold statement.
I'm telling you, if we keep doing this show, if you're on the radio, and I hope you are, 5 years down the road, have me back on. And, Joey, I'll tell you that Sidney Crosby right now has cemented his legacy as the best, or probably one of the best. Him and Wayne Gretzky are going to be right up there.
Yeah.
If he stays with Pittsburgh, I mean, even though that, Wayne Gretzky switched teams.
Well, he got traded.
Yeah, but I mean, even if he gets traded or switches teams to some degree, he's still going to be, I think, that X factor. And just like LeBron James is that X factor, right?
Yeah.
LeBron James is that X factor. Wherever he goes, that team is great. And let's transition on that note to the NBA playoffs, because the NBA playoffs, man, oh man, what a series. And we talk about the NHL playoffs being fun, and you having your bold statements about going to Pittsburgh and, the Preds beating them at their home court. But so the last we talked, they were up 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were playing in Cleveland. And give us the rundown, Joey. Give us the rundown what happened in the NBA playoffs since we last talked.
Okay. Game 4, the Cavs won. They won 137-116. And I thought that the Warriors were going to sweep personally, but they didn't. He thought that the Cavs would just come all the way back. But in that first game, well, Game 4, LeBron James had a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. Kyrie Irving at 40 points, and even Kevin Love got 23. And I think that was definitely the best game the Cavs have played.
Game 4, you mean?
Yeah, Game 4.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just a great game. They didn't stop Kevin Durant. He still had 35, but that's not very easy to do. Very solid game from them all around.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then that gave them momentum. I mean, can you think how if they didn't give up Game 3, because they should, Game 3 should have been with the Cavs. They kind of fell apart in that last couple of minutes at Game 3. And
because LeBron wasn't on the court.
Well, regardless, Kyle Korver should have made the shot. There's a couple shots that Kyrie could have made.
Yeah.
If they make those shots, that's 2-2 going back to Golden State. Tell me that's not a different feeling. Tell me that we're not talking about a dynasty. Tell me we're not talking about the greatest team ever played. I don't want to go on a rant, but LeBron James is the greatest basketball player I've ever witnessed. And don't get me wrong, Michael Jordan in the playoffs averaged 33 points and was 6-0 in NBA Finals. And LeBron James is not 6-0. He's like 3-5, I believe, out of his 8 finals.
Not very great.
He's not. And that can mean something. People that love metrics and all that jazz, they think like, oh, that's why Michael Jordan is great. If you look at LeBron James right now, this physicality, the way he shoots the ball. His knock was that he wasn't a great shooter. He was driving the ball, right? That's what LeBron James was known for. But you saw in these finals, man, whether it's from 3, whether it's from 15 feet, the free throw line, he did it all. He made it all. Like, you're just thinking like, okay, the very first possession of Game 5, LeBron James had the ball and shot a 3 and made it. That was their first points.
Wow.
LeBron James, I'm telling you, can shoot from anywhere, can dribble anywhere, can facilitate from any side of the court. He has the basketball IQ, and his defense is still really good. Like, do you want to drive on LeBron James?
I would die.
Yeah.
I would not be here right now.
You get LeBron James on the radio show. Hey, we got Joey Olberding here going one-on-one with LeBron James. 6'8" against 4 foot soaking wet.
And you brought up how LeBron James has been to like 8 NBA finals. When was the last time that he missed an NBA finals? Was it 2009?
That's a good question. Because you think about the last 3 being just with these 2 teams, and then the Heat with their run against, was it Oklahoma State, and then I forget who else they beat. Spurs. Gosh, I don't know.
That's it. I think that's it. Just those 2 teams
Man.
that they faced.
Yeah, when was the last time? That's a good question. When was the last time LeBron James wasn't in an NBA Finals? Man, I'm old. I feel old because, look, when you talk about, let's talk a little bit about the Golden State Warriors, because they deserve all those accolades as well. Because Kevin Durant got that MVP, and he well deserved it.
Yeah, in Game 5, the Warriors won the series, 129-120. KD got the Finals MVP, as you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And even LeBron James had a really good game. He was like, okay, I'm going to have to win this. So he went out, got 41 points, 8 rebounds, wait, 8 assists and 13 rebounds.
Hmm.
Um, and everybody else played well too. J.R. Smith had a good game, which is like the first time in
Oh
a
gosh,
while.
I mean, that guy couldn't miss. I was watching with a bunch of friends, and coming down the stretch in that fourth quarter, I kept telling my friends like, why does Jr. not have the ball? Give Jr. the ball. Well, he was like 5 for 5 from 3 at that point. I was thinking to myself, Jr. needs to shoot this ball. He has not missed. Why? I mean, give him the ball. Like, he checked this guy. Wouldn't you want to give him the ball? I mean, granted, you got LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, but he's on fire. Give him the ball. I mean, I don't care. Like, LeBron James is the first player to average a triple-double in the finals. But if J.R. Smith is perfect from the three-point line and what you need, and he's open. I mean, they're guarding LeBron James. They're double-teaming him in the lane. Kick out. J.R. Smith, 3, swish. I mean, he earned the nickname J.R. Swish, right?
Is that his nickname?
Yeah, J.R. Swish. I've made it because, I mean, 5 for 5 coming in this fourth quarter. Guy should have had the ball.
Nah, I don't agree with that, Patrick. Just because JR had been having a terrible finals, and LeBron James was having a pretty good finals, like
Okay.
a very good finals.
All right. Well, we digressed a little bit. Let's keep talking about the Golden State. We keep talking about LeBron James a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk Kevin Durant, Finals MVP. What do you have on him? Do you want to talk a little about him?
Oh yeah, Kevin Durant. So like I mentioned in Game 4, he had 35 points, 4 rebounds and assists. And then he came in with 39 points, 7 rebounds and 5 assists. Steph Curry also had a very good game, 34 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists.
Shocking, because there's another person on the team that is also an MVP. Don't forget about Curry.
Really, everybody in the Warriors is a really good player.
Yeah.
Like, everybody.
Well, let's go through them. We got obviously Durant, Finals MVP, Curry, 2-time MVP, Klay Thompson, who is a sharpshooter, who now advertises for chocolate milk. And the starter Zaza Zabulic, however you say his last name.
I think he got hurt in the last game. Actually.
Did he?
Yeah, because they had Andre Iguodala play like all of his minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He got like 32. So.
But then you have, I mean, you think about all the supporting players that they have. Iguodala, like you said, Sean Livingston, a lot of players they could contribute. I mean, heck, David West got his first title. That's pretty legit.
Guy.
Yeah, from Xavier, and we're happy for him. But man, oh man, there's so many different statistics that put Durant in that elite category of MVPs to average at least 30 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, of 1 of 3 to do that, 1 of 3 of MVPs to shoot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Only 3 people, including him, have done that. Just so many different things that he did during the finals to cement like why he was the X factor on Golden State, right?
Yeah.
So looking at next year for the NBA Finals, we might be four-peating here, don't you think? I mean, obviously we have free agency and what LeBron could be doing, but he's with the Cavs next year. Do you think we're going to have the same 2 teams, or what's your take on that?
Well, it depends on who gets signed in free agency. Like, Gordon Hayward's going to be a free agent. I think
Paul George?
Yeah, Paul George. Although I do hope that the Pacers re-sign him, for their team. Because without Paul George, they'd fade into obscurity once more.
And that's also a different conversation for a different day, but there's not a lot of parity in NBA basketball right now. You have Golden State, you have the Celtics, you have the Cavs, you have the Spurs.
Yeah.
Who else is there?
Well, the Rockets.
The Rockets are up and coming, I think. I don't know if Chandler Parsons could be that guy like he was this year, and we'll see if, James Harden can still be that guy. But who else? I mean, you look at OKC, they're still a playoff team, but they're not going to compete against, anybody like Golden State out west. Who else is there? I mean, you think about what the Cavs want to do. They're going to get a piece. The Celtics are going to get a piece. They have to.
Yeah.
They got to compete. If the Warriors stay the same as they should, they're going to be right back there. You can't beat that team right now.
Well, even though the Jazz only got 1 game on the Warriors and Gordon Hayward's going into free agency, they're just getting better and better each and every year. I remember that in like 2013 or 2014, they were terrible. They were like the worst team in the league, and I said, okay, I'm looking at these young guys, Rudy Gobert, Dante Exum. They are going to be something in 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years later, well, that's 2018, but you see the Jazz, they get a game on the Warriors.
Hmm.
That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
You have to be a good team to do that because of how much of a dynasty they have. They're just a great team. That's hard to do, especially when they're riding momentum. It's hard.
Right. And hopefully for I think the NBA's sake, it would be good to have a little bit more parity. Like if the Wizards do get some players and if the
Yeah.
Timberwolves do come up and have their stars like Chris Dunn and maybe Rubio does stick around and you have Andrew Wiggins there and you get some really good play out of Karl Anthony Towns, right? I think that could be a team coming up in the next few years that you talk about. But whatever team I think Anthony Davis is on, if he stays with the Pelicans or if he goes to the Celtics or the Cavs or what other team, I think that team will be, one to fight for a good position in the playoffs next year.
I would be shocked if Ricky Rubio went to another team. He loves the Timberwolves.
I don't think it's his decision. You look at Chris Dunn, what he's done this year as a rookie, he's much better than Ricky Rubio. And I think they want to replace Rubio with Dunn. I don't think that he has a choice. He's probably going to demand money too because he's
Yeah.
a veteran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's only like 28. He's not old.
I don't think that matters. I mean, where's he going to go? Like, are you going to put him on the Knicks?
I can see him on the Lakers.
They're going to draft a point guard.
Yeah,
They're going to
that's
draft
true.
you Alonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, Josh Jackson out of Kansas. One of those studs that can probably facilitate up there. And then
Yeah.
you got, obviously, D'Angelo Russell there, who
Yeah.
I don't even know between his personality and his play on the court. I don't even know if you could trust him. But, okay. So, again, we're here June 14th on a Wednesday, second show of the Payoff Pitch. Let's start concluding this segment here. I want to give my payoff pitch again. Do you want to do yours first?
You do yours first,
Okay.
Patrick.
I'll do mine first. So my payoff pitch for this Wednesday, the 14th, is about the PGA again. We're coming up. We talked about the FedEx playoffs and whatnot, but now it's the U.S. Open. U.S. Open is being played in Wisconsin, and there's a lot of talk about, and this is the key word, the buzzword that's being thrown around is fescue. Fescue. You know what fescue is?
I wish I did.
Fescue is this long grass, and it's literally a hazard if you play golf. You can't get out of it. You try to get out of it. You think you can get out of it, but this is long grass. It's almost like cottontails or something like that. They're so long and so thick, and if you hit into it, it's basically gone. So this fescue is a big hot topic around the U.S. Open coming up this weekend for all the big golfers, and the reason why it's a big topic is because you can't hit out of it and it's playable. It's not technically a hazard. So a hazard is by definition if you put red lines like on the side of the course, and then if you hit outside those red lines, that's you have to have a drop ball. Or let's say like if you hit it in a lake or a pond or something like that, right? That's a hazard. So you have to drop your ball. So this fescue, I mean, they're treating it as basically a hazard. But these fairways in the U.S. Open this year are extremely large, like width-wise. This is the first year they've had about 40, 50, 60 yards
Wow.
width-wise of a fairway, right?
Wow.
And a lot of players thinking like, oh, this is crap. Like, why do we have this fescue around? It's like, dude, Roy McIlroy, and this is what he said, I swear. He's like, we have 150-something best players in the world. Like, if we can't hit a drive down a fairway that is, 50 yards width-wise, like, you pack your bags and go home. That's exactly what he said. Pack your bags and go home. You're one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Hit it down the fairway. So my payoff pitch is that I want to see how many people complain about the fescue this weekend at the PGA Open. Because, I mean, honestly, this is the first time the U.S. Open has been played at this venue in Wisconsin. And they don't know what kind of scores they're going to be getting. The leader could be 20 under, or it could be +4 at the end of Sunday. We're not sure. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of play we get from this very first venue at the U.S. Open, and I'm looking forward to it because I think, in my opinion, there's going to be a lot of low scores because these players, these golf players, they're better than they think they are.
Yeah.
They're confident. Don't get me wrong, but to complain about this fescue and things, they're not going to be in this hazard too much, and they're going to have some low scores if they get some good fairway shots. And there's not a whole lot of trees out there, and it's a very beautiful course. It's going to be a lot of low scores.
I think it's possible that if some of the worst players go out and hit it into the fescue, then that might bring down some of the better players, and they could start hitting it into the fescue themselves. And then kind of be like a chain reaction, and the score is the best score isn't as low as you might think.
I don't know. It's hard for me to agree with that, Joey. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think that they're better than that. They're not gonna be hitting it like I do off the tee, and it's gonna go like a tangential way, like completely into a fence or something like that. And no, these guys, they know what they're doing, and they've played much tougher courses and with just as good as scores that are, like 7 under or whatever like that. So if a 7 under, let's say, is a typical course that they average, I'm saying it's going to be like 12, 15 under as a final score for the leader. That's just my payoff pitch. So let's conclude, Joey. What is your payoff pitch looking forward?
Well, the New York Yankees, their right fielder, Aaron Judge, is a monster.
He is.
I'm not convinced he's human. He's a monster. At the time recording this, it must have been like 3 days ago. The Yankees were playing at home, and Aaron Judge hit his 21st home run of the year. Right now he's at 22, but that 21st home run, the longest ball hit since like 2009.
Mm-hmm.
It went 495 feet. 495. That is very far.
Yeah.
And there was one last year that was said by like ESPN that hit like 500 feet by Giancarlo Stanton in Coors Field.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently it wasn't actually, and it was hit 494 feet.
No. They took that away from him?
Yeah.
Jeez.
No.
How nice of them, right?
Yeah. So but everybody's like, oh yeah, 495 feet for this one. And then Aaron Judge the next day hit his 22nd home run of the year. And this man is a rookie. This monster is a rookie.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. The Yankees youth movement makes them look like they're going to be something really good in the next few years. They have Gary Sanchez. They have Aaron Judge. They have pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They have money. Money's important.
Yeah. They do have a lot of that. It is the New York Yankees. It's heck, New York is, in general, the Mets have a lot of money.
Yeah, but the Mets aren't doing so well this year. They have a lot of injuries.
So what's the height and weight of Aaron Judge? When you say he's a monster, I mean, physically, his presence is monstrous. He's 6'7", 280.
Yeah, 6'7", 280.
Dude's large. I mean,
large guy.
Do you remember Richie Sexson? You remember him?
How
tall was he? Because he looks exactly like Richie Sexson height-wise.
I think he was taller, actually. I think he was 6'8".
Really?
I think so.
Man. Well, he looks like Richie Sexson when he comes up the plate. The guy's he's a monster, and he launches them. Yeah, Richie Sexson, 6'7", 205.
205.
205. So this Aaron Judge is 75 pounds bigger than Richie Sexson. This guy is, I mean, no wonder he could hit at 500 feet.
Really?
This guy's got muscle on muscle. 280 and 6'7". The dude should be playing football. He's coming out of Fresno State. Why didn't he? I mean, can we look? We need to find out if he played football at Fresno State.
Dude, if he didn't play football at Fresno State, I mean, I know he's focusing on his baseball career, but come on. That's a missed opportunity. He'd be a beast tight end.
Yeah.
He would destroy everybody at tight end.
No doubt. He just went straight into the minors. He didn't really go into doing a whole lot of things at Fresno State. He wears 99. Anything behind that? Do you know? Is there a backstory behind why he weighs 99? Other than the fact that I'm sure they give it to young players because that's what they do, and he's a rookie.
He's got 99 problems, but a good baseball career isn't one. I don't know.
Oh man. Okay. So that's your payoff pitch for this Wednesday. Joey, we want to take us out?
Yeah. So from me, Joey Olberding, and Patrick Lewis, we hope that you will join us next week here on 95.7 MRC, Cincinnati's new music.